Hello world, this is Dr. Travis Andrews. I'm here to tell you about a discovery I made. Discovery in statistical analysis, which I realize is the most boring type of discovery ever possible. I'm not actually going to talk about the statistics too much today, but just what it could mean if implemented. So the easiest way to think about this is we use money right now, cash money, to think about how well a business is doing, how well you're doing financially, how well the stock market's doing. We think about money a lot. And what I've come up with is something analogous to money, but for any system. So systems that don't necessarily use money. So one example that I'm applying right now is things that are important to you. And what's similar between these systems is that they have a number of they're complex systems that have a number of interacting elements that are limited by resources. So businesses are limited by how much money they can bring in, how big their market is, and the things that have meaning in your life are limited to how much time you can dedicate, how much thought you can dedicate to them, and how much energy you can dedicate to them. And so an example in someone's life, for example my life, I have a few very large important things in my life: relationships, to my parents, to my girlfriend, to my job. So I could go out and get new relationships, not necessarily new girlfriends. That would be a bad thing to try and get new. But new friends, I definitely could use some new friends. I'm new here to Wisconsin, lovely state. We're heading to my favorite spot that I've found anyway that can be driven to. All right, we made it to my spot. Let's go explore. One of the coolest aspects is that it is constantly changing. All right, enough having fun. Back to work. Okay, let's talk about what this discovery actually is and how it can be applied and if it's useful to anyone besides me. So, there's essentially two parts. The first part is mapping the discovery. So this is the sort of the statistical use of the word mapping. And so we're going to be thinking about a graph. Any story that has a trade-off, any narrative, any complex system that's changing through time can be plotted on this graph of trade-offs. And what happens, this is the coolest part, is that what happens is if you average a bunch of these stories together, a bunch of similar systems together, you end up with a common narrative, is what I'm calling it. And so the graphs all look similar. And it's the most miraculous thing. So the point is that there's this common narrative that lots of different systems follow pretty clearly, and what's even more interesting is that when they don't follow this common narrative, that can tell you something interesting about the system. It can tell you, oh, there was a disruption. These factors that influence the system can be pulled out pretty easily. This builds on centuries of thought where medieval thought was just trying to figure out what a thing was, and then we moved into mechanistic thought of, well, if this happens, then this will happen. And now we're at this complex systems thought, where we realize that not only does this influence this, but this influences 10,000 other things. And all we can really do is try and understand and measure the system as best we can, and then change something purposefully and see if that change has the impact we were expecting, and then try and monitor for what other impacts happen. Is sort of where we're at now at the standard of understanding systems. And so what I'm offering, a framework that can infer complex risk and interactions in complex systems. For example, forests are a complex system made up of trees with a million different interactions, yet through unpublished work I've found what is best described as forest health, or what I call system fitness. So the idea is, first, it's this mapping of the system and identifying divergences and causes of disruption and factors that influence the system, just by looking at how these trade-offs within the elements of the system change through time. And then what's really powerful here, the reason why I think this could be as valuable as thinking about money, for example, in the future, in the distant future, is that there's patterns that develop within this graph. And these patterns can tell you about how likely it is to be disturbed, the impact of disturbance, the risk towards disturbance, the risk if there is a disturbance, how big it is. And so you can learn a lot about where you are in this mapping, and then you can quantify something, a single number called system fitness, that tells you whether your system is doing relatively better than a comparable one. So Tesla has what I'm calling a revolutionary system fitness. So in conclusion, what I'm hoping is that the website I've created to explore this topic, the evidence-based trade-off mapping, I've set it up applying that topic, this mapping, to meaning in life, not meaning of life. That's religion's deal, but meaning in life. So things that bring meaning to your life. And because everyone can think about that. Everyone has things that are meaningful to their life. So there's so much to learn, so much to apply here, so much to better understand how the world works, and hopefully improve people's lives. So thanks for coming along on my drive to my favorite spot. Heading back. That's where we're at.